All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call hello, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Rakak, Dash. Some double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Send much peace, love, and salutations to the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, and sincerity and truth. This is Brother Ariala. This is just a real quick path for the Motb lesson. I want to talk about assisted AI universal basic income. All right, and as these industries get integrated more and more with artificial intelligence, and they govern our world, one of the chief things that they're going to talk about is how much money the world is saving, and how we're going to be able to, give rebates and give money back to the people because of it, and universally they'll start to integrate a universal basic income system that will be governed in a way that leads to the mark of the beast, to be able to, control, make sure that everything's safe. You'll have issues with cybersecurity issues that they'll say they'll need to manage. And, as they integrate more and more of this digital technology, this is the type of gradualism that they're going to present, to where they'll send you $600 and $500, then it'll increase. Okay, as artificial intelligence takes over more and more of these systems. So I want to talk about that a little bit today. I'm gonna play this clip, kind of go over some scripture. But as we see these things, we don't trip on it. We understand that it's a part of the Most High's program. It's just a part of it. In the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it says in the 5th verse, it says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." And this is this totalitarian digital AI system that he's going to herald is going to be a part of it. All right. So Night Talk was talking about AI. He's invested, and he sees some of the larger implications. I believe he is a bit of a conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, he like, look, shit, I'm gonna make some money off of it. That's what they're gonna do, But I'm gonna let him play this, and then we'll go off from that.
And that would be AI. Something you are all already aware of. You use it every day, whether you realize it or not. And I'm sure that most of you realize it, but life will not look at all the same in 3 years. In 3 years. Right now, and it's sad to say, but right now, those that are pursuing higher education are literally doing that for nothing. Nothing. All your advanced degrees, tech degrees, math degrees, it's pointless. It's pointless. And I'm of the mindset that artificial intelligence, unless something changes in the near future, but it's not, because
so there's going to be several industries affected by general artificial intelligence, and then when you get to super artificial intelligence, what's going to be the need for a coder, person that codes? AI can code with no flaws. Certain levels of mathematics and calculating things, DNA sequencing, understanding all those type of things, DNA research sequencing. All you're going to need is a person that presses the button for the software. And then that's going to get to a point to where you don't even need that person to press that button. It's going to completely be AI and automated and controlled. Just get the results. So this is going to swaths of industries in healthcare and education and tech is going to be just done for. I mean, accounting, for certain firms and corporations, these are basic accountants. There's literally going to be no need for them. So a lot of stuff is going to be taken out, and then they're going to replace it by saying, hey, you know what? Here's a $1,000 check every month. This is how much money we're saving, billions and billions of dollars. We're going to just reissue out this to society, and people are going to be like, whoa, yay, universal level, universal basic income. But then what's going to come with that? Rules and regulations.
Because there's too much money in it. There's too much money in it. Society is literally getting paid for the demise of the human experience as we know it. Right? And the gap between the have and the have-nots is going to be that much wider. That much wider. But fortunately, regardless if you have or have not, if you equip yourself, weaponize yourself, educate yourself, you can get ahead of the curve and capitalize off this and change the current situation.
None of that will matter.
Of your life if you're in dire situations, but that tends not to happen. And the
none of that will matter. Even if you invest into these industries, and you make hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars, that's not going to stop you from how they're going to regulate and control this Motb system. In order to be able to activate your account, activate the resources that you have, you will have to follow their policy. They're going to present it as peace, like we always read in the scripture, but like it says here, right? Daniel 8:25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken out of hand. So he's going to, have these people that are kind of early adopters, and you invest now. Let's say you invest in Palantir and all these different companies that are linking themselves with the government to advance AI and blockchain in society. With all the money that you do make, this whatever you have is going to be controlled by the ruling powers, right? So from least to greatest, like it talks about in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, we read it all the time. He calls it all, both small and great, right? Free and bond, rich and poor. It does not matter. The systems that are going to govern this world are going to be, led through Esau by the spiritual demon Satan, man. And either you're going to lock in with it and take that mark and be destroyed, or you're going to refuse it and trust in the Lord to be able to move outside of that system and be taken care of. A decision is going to be made, man. There's going to be a temptation out there. All right. I want to skip ahead a little bit because he starts talking about what he's made a lot of money. Good for him.
The companies, what they're doing, where they're going, CEOs, geopolitics, everything, bro. And we're here now. We're here now. We're a little beyond ground zero at this point, bro. But not to go into the weeds of it, just to keep it plainly, life as you see it right now would not be the way it is in July 26, 2020. It won't be. Right. The majority of jobs you've already seen it. All these layoffs these companies are having because presidents.
The grinding shall cease. We read these scriptures all the time, man. All right. And people that are kind of locked into these markets and these industries are looking ahead. Now, most people don't have risk capital and don't really even have the time to be researching the markets to know that these changes are coming. The average Joe Blow citizen works 8 to 10 hours a day, gets from there, puts it on some type of sports station or news, gets them a drink, do some drugs, and then takes a shit, wash, rinse, repeat. They're not paying attention or locked in. They sure not gonna learn enough from no TikTok video that's 30 seconds, somebody pointing in the screen, to understand how deeply integrated fascism has already happened, not just in America, but all across the world. These governments are linked in with these major multi-billion, even trillion-dollar corporations, hedge funds managing companies, and they move forward, man. This is what they're talking about when they go to World Economic Forum. When they have every industry locked in and they all have the same script. I don't care if you live in Russia. I don't care if you live in Idaho. I don't care if you live in India. The powers that be run all those industries, man. All right? And they're all trending towards the same place. The mark of the beast, the Motb.
CEOs, chairmen, owners can get the labor done much better for cheaper. And I mean, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of y'all mess around with ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or whatever. And if you have any experience with it, you already see what it's capable of, bruh. AI is the closest thing we have to God in the flesh because it literally gives you the answers to every test. It gives you the path to it.
And it be giving wrong answers too. But people are so indoctrinated that the so-called white man's technology is the end-all be-all. They follow whatever Grok says. They follow whatever ChatGPT says. We use it as a tool, but we understand that the programming comes from the most evil people on the planet Earth. Now it's going to throw out data, information. It can be useful as a tool, but ultimately the thing is is run by the spiritual demon Satan, right? Now he made a statement that this is the closest thing to God. Where do we read that scripture at? 2 Thessalonians. Somebody wants to put that into the chat. Who wants to intercede as he is God? You know, also it mentions it kind of in Ezekiel the 27th chapter, right? So he's presenting this technology, and it's basically a religion because people worship it. Okay.
Any way that you want to pursue, it's just incumbent upon you to move on it, and that's the fault within human beings because the majority of motherfuckers is lazy. But we've never been in a pocket where anybody can eat if you have the motivation to do it. Right. It's another conversation for another day. You know, I've tapped into this a little bit on my Night Fit channel. I don't even know if I want to post this video, man, but you know, with the advent of AI, with the advent of every answer to every test, to everything that has ever been experienced on planet Earth during the modern era at your fingertips, no one has any excuse not to pursue.
Okay, so he gets to his entrepreneurial shtick. Then he moves on. I want to read this real quick. This is the book of Psalms 37:7. And to want to stand fast and faithful for posting their scripture. This is Psalms 37:7. It says, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass." Don't fret, man. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Right? For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. So we don't fret, we ain't tripping, because the closer they get to this and pushing all this stuff, the more insurmountable it's going to seem. But we're not going to fret over it. We're not going to be tripping over necessarily feeling like we have to do anything with this man's systems, what he's got going on. All right. Now I'm gonna skip ahead because he's gonna play this clip that I want y'all to hear.
I'm in, bro.
A well-known and respected tech CEO, Dario Amodei, who heads a cutting-edge AI company called Anthropic, is raising alarms tonight about AI's potential impact on employment that could soon be felt. While he says AI can lead to incredible advancements like medical breakthroughs and boost the economy, he believes it could also lead to half of entry-level white-collar jobs disappearing and 10 to 20% unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years. It's something that's been talked about within tech circles for a while, but rarely so stark.
Bro, half of white-collar jobs. So if you're sitting on a laptop at an entry level, you just got your bachelor's degree in business, and you got this entry-level position where you just input data for whatever reason, that's gone. Cooked. You're making $45,000 a year. You got a roommate, in a major city. Y'all combine each other, you're cooked. That job's done. All right. This is why brothers, the Spirit was always on the apostles to tell brothers to get a trade. Get you a trade. Learn how to, a lot of brothers are electricians and carpenters and plumbers and, brothers have all these types of trades that they've learned over the years so that their industry, those industries that are hands-on, it's hard to touch those industries, right? But white collar desk jobs, cooked. All right, 50% in 1 to 2 years. That is a lot. If you can't do the numbers, half. That's a lot.
Berkeley and so publicly. I spoke to him just before air about that and other implications he thinks AI may have on society. Dario, you said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%. How soon might that happen?
Well, let's, well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. But just to back up a little bit, I've been building AI for over a decade. And I think maybe the most salient feature of the technology and what is driving all of this is how fast the technology is getting better. A couple of years ago, you could say that AI models were maybe as good as a smart high school student. I would say that now they're as good as a smart college student and sort of reaching past that. I really worry, particularly at the entry level, that the AI models are very much at the center of what an entry level human worker would do. And so it's hard to estimate, exactly what the impact would be. And there's always this question of adaptation. And these technology changes have happened before, but I think what is striking to me about this AI boom is that it's bigger and it's broader and it's moving faster than anything has before. And so compared to previous technology changes, I'm a little bit more worried about the labor impact simply because it's happening so fast that yes, people will adapt, but they may not adapt fast enough, and so there may be an adjustment period.
Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. We call that superintelligence, or ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans.
I think for mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody. If it can do all mundane human intellectual labor, then what new jobs is it going to create? You'd have to be very skilled to have a job that it couldn't just do.
What would your kind of observation be on?
See, you have to be very skilled that it wouldn't have a job they would just do. Why waste money on a human that gets sick, that misses days, that makes excuses, that got to go pick up their kids? Why have that inferior being, and then you got to pay them? Then when you can just download an artificial intelligent agent to do these things for you, right? So what's gonna, how are people gonna be able to live, make money, take care of themselves? Well, that's when the solution will come in, and that'll be some sort of universal basic income system that people will jump up and down about, just how they did when they gave out the checks during the time of the jab, right? Brother Stand Fast in the Faith 4 put Isaiah 19 and 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, right? Which the head or the tail, branch or brush may do. Yeah. And out of that lack, they're going to be, out of that lack they're going to be able to, get people to take on to these new regulations and systems. Okay. And Required Quam, if you want to jump in, you can. But it said they developing robots for trades too. That's right. They'll be able to have robots to. They already talking about having all the dock work and this and that to be managed. Warehouse labor, all this is gonna be taken over, man. It's gonna be taken over. Okay, piece by piece, and it's happening faster than we think. As we continue to interact with ChatGPT, is figuring it out. What brothers be going into ChatGPT, putting in a Lashwa Kodash, I wouldn't do that shit. Let them figure it out. You never know how we be out and about, and you might need to say something, and you can just say it in a Lashwa Kodash instead of speaking English. That might be your way to get through a situation. Bro's got to think ahead, man. Bro be talking to ChatGPT, giving it all a game and shit. You like I said, we was at war, bro. Jake could be killed by their own people, man. They don't think. Jake don't think 2-3 steps ahead, man. That's why I was like, why are you sending the Lashwan Kodash to the chat GPT so it can just learn our shit quicker? No, just ask it a basic ass question, bro. You don't need to know that you know the name. Like, hello, it's not your friend. Think. Bros, I mean, sometimes, brothers, man, I be like, what team y'all on?
AI and the impact on labor markets and people's jobs, and how they should feel about that as they think about this.
Well, I think we are seeing the most disruptive force in history here. Where we have for the first time, we will have for the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. And that, I mean, it's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but
you can't listen to this dude and not understand that he's absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Something's wrong with you. He's a fucking weirdo. There's nothing cool about this guy. Just listen to him. I will rewind it, but no.
There will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job for sort of personal satisfaction, but the AI will be able to do everything. So I don't know if that makes people comfortable or uncomfortable. It's that's why I say if you wish for a magic genie, that gives you any wishes you want, and there's no limit. You don't have those three wish limits nonsense. You just have as many wishes as you want. It's both good and bad. One of the challenges in the future will be, how do we find meaning in life? If you have a magic genie that can do everything you want, I do think it's hard. When there's new technology, it tends to have.
You see, and this is this quirky weirdo, is letting you know, what are we gonna do with these humans, right? First of all, they're gonna get rid of a lot of them. The rest are gonna be plugged into the digital AI system, so it can be so the humans can be regulated, right? Deuteronomy 28:48, man, says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. So when people are not able to, get income so that they can buy the resources that they need, they're going to be in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until they have destroyed thee. That's a part of the process of someone ruling over you, man. Yeah. That's a good point. That's exactly right. The brother put Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Yeah. The brother Required Quam put Trump going full steam ahead with every NWO system agenda, AI, digital ID, stable. Yep. But people say, oh, he's gonna bring freedom. I thought Elon and Trump were bringing the jobs back, but same time saying AI gonna do the jobs, make it make sense. Which is it? That's right. They talk out of both sides of their neck, man. That's what the devil does. Thou shalt not surely die, Eve. Thou shalt not surely die. You're not gonna surely die, but you're gonna die. You know, this is what they do. So I went to my friendly ChatGPT and I put in, hey, what is I can't remember the question I asked. It was basically how can AI assisted universal basic income be implemented, right? And then it gave me an overview. It says, outline from current society to AI assisted universal basic income. Current society, as of the mid 2020s, economic structure is capitalism with significant income inequality, huge wage gap between the haves and the have-nots. You have these multi-million, billion-dollar CEOs and politicians or whatever that have all the wealth, and they hold literally 90, I think it's something like 98 or 95 to 98% of the world's wealth, while the rest of the wealth is dispersed towards everybody else. It says wages are tied to employment, rise of gig economy and freelance work, right? So people started doing Uber and drive share jobs and basically making apps and saying, hey, do you need me to come fix your sink? Click this button, you know, whatever it was, the rise of gig economy and freelance work, right? It says high cost of living in urban areas. As we know, you go to, you know, New York, LA, Dallas, London, you know, Toronto, these major urban areas, the cost of living is absolutely outrageous, where you basically get a box and you have to pay $3,500 to $5,000 a month. It's just ridiculous, right? It says increasing automation pressure on middle and low skill jobs. See, the robots. All right, biological landscape. It says rapid advancement in AI, robotics and machine learning, which we're in. AI beginning to outperform humans in narrow domains. That's what we just listened to. Early signs of AI disrupting white collar and creative work. Literally, that's what we just listened to. Widening gap between high-tech companies and traditional industries. See, social conditions, growing concern over job displacement, rising mental health issues and societal stress. We read about that. Languishing in Isaiah, the 24th chapter. Calls for more equitable wealth distribution. People asking for reparations, people asking to take away student loan debt, right? Uneven access to technology and education. Just literally just said that. Government and policy, experimental UBI trials, like in Finland and Canada, right? Subsidies and welfare programs instead of guaranteed income. They're going to just slowly introduce this stuff. Political division around social safety nets. Okay, it's going to cause inflation. Oh, it's going to cause, public outrage. People need help. You're going to be taken care of. It's a human right to be able to have these basic things. We got to make sure that we can do it. You're going to have all these arguments going on like that, right? All right, subsection 2 is transitional phase, rise of AI-driven automation, labor market shifts, major job losses in transportation, retail, customer service, and manufacturing. Creative and knowledge jobs begin to be impacted by generative AI, right? So now we're seeing all these movies. People are saying, I'm making this movie from my iPhone. They just had this World of Worlds movie come out that was trash with Ice Cube. Horrible. And now you look at the current movies that are coming out, they're just getting worse. That's why there's such a nostalgia right now for the 90s and the late 80s. You know, they even finna do this Cowboys documentary talking about the 90s Cowboys. It's like, get over it. Because the idea of creative thought is just gone, man. People are writing music with AI, writing movies. Everybody books, everything. Okay. It says rise of AI collaborators and prompt engineers. Good. Right. So you basically get someone to help you prompt your AI to do whatever you want it to do. So you have prompt engineers that you hire to, hey, I need my AI to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. They know how to prompt the AI to make it happen quicker, right? It says growing underemployment, right? Despite high productivity, right? B, corporate consolidation. AI tools give immense leverage to top tech companies, increase productivity, but lower workforce requirements, right? So these companies are going to be the biggest expense for any business is labor, right? So if you eliminate that, then you're making tons of money. So that gives you tons of leverage. You can borrow more in the market. You can do more in the market because you got that bag. All right. So imagine if you have a company with 10,000 employees and it's reduced down to 5,000 employees. How much money you going to have to be able to have more leverage in the market? It's a no-brainer for a corporation. Okay, it's a no-brainer. It says increased productivity but lower workforce requirements, vast profits concentrated in a few hands, public reaction, labor protests and calls for tech taxes. See, greater awareness of post-work economy, pilot programs for universal basic income or negative income tax become more common. Policy shift begins. Government start taxing AI outputs and automation dividends. Debate over data ownership and personal data as labor, wealth taxes, and digital infrastructure investments gain traction. See, if this thing right here is spitting this out for me, for a nigga in Texas that's saying that he's an Israelite, and I'm sitting up here reading this to y'all that's listening, you don't think these goddamn Edomites and all these other world leaders that don't have this outline? And that's way more intricate. You best believe it, man. This Motb is coming. Now all you got these weirdo Israelite groups that want to close their eyes and plug their ears as if this is not in front of their face. You this rapist. I'm an idiot. You put your fringes on women. Shut your dumb ass up, man. This is what's happening in the earth, man. And it's prophecy. Okay? It's coming, man. That's right. They said they're going to wipe out pensions. Absolutely. And then you're going to be forced into a UBI system. And you're going to follow, and they're going to follow the rules. Right? Early AI assisted UBI implementation. A, funding mechanism. And this ain't going to take long for all this to happen. They're talking about 1 to 3 years. This stuff rolled out. Right? Funding mechanisms. Taxation of AI productivity. Robot tax. Okay, so these companies that are using AI to do all of these labor jobs, there's a tax on the productivity that's created. Right? Data dividend models. Users paid for data used to train AI. Carbon and digital taxes. There you go. Sovereign AI fund, modeled after sovereign wealth funds. UBI rollout. Initial modest monthly payments universally distributed, integrated with existing welfare and social services. Payments adjusted to region or cost of living. Digital wallets and crypto-based UBI explored. You're going to get your stable coin in this wallet. Your United, whatever it is, it's going to be to this wallet. This is how you get access to it. All right? And then they're going to have to police it. That's where that chip comes in. Okay? AI management infrastructure. AI systems used to manage UBI distribution efficiently. See? So we always talk about their digital angels. Fraud detection, need-based adjustments, and economic forecasting. Personalized financial planning via AI assistance. You're going to be told where and when you can spend your money. Societal impact, decline in traditional 9-to-5 jobs. Growth of creative, caregiving, and communal roles. redefinition of work, purpose, and value. Education shift towards lifelong learning and human-centric skills. Mature AI assisting UBI society speculative. It says economic landscape. Most goods services produced by automated systems. Human labor optional, not necessary for survival. Post scarcity or abundant. See that right there, the human labor. You're going to have to pass the test in order to have access to those UBI funds. You're going to have to do this, do that, do these. Okay. Post scarcity and abundance economy in some sectors. People pursue passions, caregiving, research, art, stronger community networks, new forms of status-based on contribution, not consumption. Oh, it's going to be all consumption. People don't know how to do nothing but consume. And so that's why consumption is going to have to be regulated, controlled, and marked down. And then it says new forms of status based on contribution. They're gonna figure out a way to enslave you towards that. Because if you can just sit up and eat steak every day, they ain't gonna allow that. Right? Governance and AI. AI helps administer decentralized governance. I did a lesson on oracles, and I talked about how they present in the stable coin, but it's nothing but a CBDC. All right? And they can train that CBDC to do whatever it wants on that chain. Okay? Participatory budgeting and direct democracy supported by tech. Ethical oversight of AI and economic fairness becomes central. Risks and ethical concerns, dependency on centralized AI systems, potential surveillance on and loss of autonomy, which is what the prophecy says, need for robust digital rights and cyber protection, risk of reinforcing the inequality of universal basic income is not designed equitably, right? So yeah, I was just doing this lesson to show you how we're trending on this thing very quickly. Very quickly. Now I typed in a timeline of these systems coming into place, right? And just to get to the point, I'm not going to read it all. It says near term, 2025 to 2030, laying the groundwork. AI disruption accelerates. More industries feel pressure from generative AI and automation. UBI pilots expand. Local and national governments test UBI more seriously. Public debate intensifying. You're going to see PBD, Patrick Ben-David, Candace Owens, everybody going to be Andrew Tate. Then they're going to go on the Piers Morgan show. And then it's going to be mentioned to Trump or whoever's in office. And then you're going to look up, it's being passed. This stuff is not going to take a long time, man. That's not going to take a long time. Right? It says government struggle to keep pace with tech innovation. Right? It says this is the phase we're in or entering now. Right? Now, I think it's going to happen even faster with the way that everything is moving. You know, it says midterm 2030 to 2040 transition period. Widespread job displacement, millions of jobs potentially automated or transformed, partial UBI hybrid models. And this is not counting in World War III, you know, and all the turmoil that the Lord is going to send to this place. A lot of this stuff is locked hand in hand with chaos that's going to consume a lot of these world governments. Okay. The brother put, let's see. Yeah, that's a good scripture. I'll post it. The brother put Isaiah 48:6. Hast thou heard? See all this, and will not ye declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou dost not know them. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I tell you of them. That's right. And us as the watchmen, we've been sent through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua to warn people of these things, man. To get people to see that these things are right here. We're not far away from this. Right? AI managing public systems. AI helps distribute welfare more efficiently, possibly using UBI trials. That's why you had Doge telling you that the government and everybody was wasting your money. Well, what do you gonna think they're gonna implement to correct that? AI systems. Big tech under pressure pushes for AI taxes, data dividends, public ownership of key AI platforms. Okay. Then it says long term, possible full AI UBI society, broad universal basic income implementation. Full UBI becomes viable if productivity gains from AI cover basic needs. Post-work economy emerges. People work less and pursue non-economic value roles. AI in governance, public systems, and economic planning assisted heavily by AI. New norms and risks. Society adjusts to new definitions of purpose, status, and community. Right, and so they're going to present this as this utopian, everybody loves each other society. Meanwhile, the spiritual demon Satan reigns over the earth for everything, and he's getting ready to do this, man. That's why he's setting up, these where you're gonna have to have a digital ID to log in to YouTube, and they're gonna do things where more and more and more AI is governing your world, behind the scenes and in your face. But this is the path to the Motb. Okay, this is the path to the Motb, man. Hey,
Hey, Shalom Zakwan. Yabashim Yasha Barakatah. Shalom Akim. Salakia, man, I'm on the plantation. I got about 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's all I got. I gotta head out to camp. So yeah.
I was actually going to holler at you, man, because you see the thing that came out with Trump, and he was pushing that health AI and the new development system where you got all the health records digitized.
I didn't see that. You sent that to me?
I'm sure I sent it. Yeah, that's it. A couple of days ago, he basically pushing, WEF UN initiative to digitize the entire healthcare system, so all your records will be digital, and then so when you go from one doctor to another, you just need to opt in, and then they'll have access to all your digital information and all them tech companies and all that.
Look at it.
And yeah, and I was gonna say, man, like that's why we've been covering all these things over the years. We speak about a beast system because it's a multifaceted system with different infrastructures that's built, but it's all going to lead towards the Motb, which is that chip. That's what's going to tie you in. But you see how they're rolling it out rapidly, like it's exponential.
Yep.
It's exponential. It's not something that's steadily being rolled out. It's more and more every day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, man, it's such an exciting time, man, that everything we've been saying, man, interoperability, linking all these systems together so they can all communicate, It's definitely going down, man. And the scripture says we're not ignorant to Satan's devices, man. So GMS, we've been ahead of the curve the whole way. Everything, stable coins, CBDCs, we spoke about these things years ago. And now they're really pushing it and it's coming to the forefront. So Kahala Yahaba Shemi Awashaya, man. We know that the Motb is close. The UBI, Universal Basic Income, we broke that down. That's all coming down the pipeline. All they got to do is continue to demolish this economy and make the people desperate for something new. And regarding the healthcare, it's the same thing. They've made the people sick. So now they could use this new health system as like, okay, but if you sign up to this, then we can use AI to predict that you're going to have cancer in 6 years. And so we could treat it now. You could get this wearable device because everyone's sick. But everyone's sick because of them. Everyone's sick because of them. Every solution that they're going to bring, they're the ones that cause the problem.
The facts.
You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that cause the problem. And then the solution is just going to come down to the Motb. Yeah, we got this utopian system that we're building with all this technology. But if you want to access it, you need to basically take this chip. And that's what's going to happen. And you can see it. You know.
Yeah.
But I'll send you the link. I know you got to run. We might have to link up and do something on the healthcare one if we get time. But
in that digital ID stuff that you sent, I was gonna try to touch in on that today, but I can't. I gotta get ready for camp. But we're winning this weekend. Maybe Sunday. If
yeah, Sunday. Nah, Sunday's doable. Sunday's doable. Yeah,
right.
yeah, we got to catch up on that, man, because there's a lot. There's a lot coming out.
Yeah, we'll continue. Just hit me in the chat. We'll get it figured out.
Okay, Khan. Hey, so what? I'm gonna head out, man. I'm still at the plantation, but hey, Khan, hello, you how about Shem Shai, man? Shalom, Wakim.
Hey, shalom, Mike. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna wrap this up, man. But for you bros, go and this is a good video. There's actually more to this video. It's a 21-minute video. It's called "Are You Prepared for What's Coming" by Night Talk. And he plays a few more clips and it touches in on it, but it just shows you we're right there on the cusp, man. We're right there on the cusp of this stuff really flying through. So, but with that, I'm gonna say call hello Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, Akiam, out there pushing the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai in sincerity and truth, man. Shalom.